The Awakening. Alana Mitchell stood at the helm of Maris Corp, a towering behemoth in the tech industry, with a tenacity that had carried her through years of adversity. She had fought against the tides of prejudice, gender bias, and systemic discrimination to reach the apex of her career. Now, as the newly appointed CEO, she was ready to lead the company into a new era. Yet, as she entered the boardroom, she felt as if she was stepping into a battlefield, a place where her every word would be scrutinized and her authority questioned. The boardroom was a stark contrast to the vibrant corridors of Maris Corp. Sunlight filtered through tall windows, casting geometric patterns on the polished wooden table. However, the atmosphere was charged with an unspoken tension that hung heavy in the air. The directors, a sea of gray suits and masculine energy, were seated around the table, their expressions a mix of skepticism and indifference. Alana took her place at the head of the table, her navy suit tailored to perfection, exuding confidence and authority. Her heart raced as she scanned the faces of her fellow executives, noting the dismissive glances and barely concealed smirks. Jacob Barnes, the ambitious and shrewd executive known for his aggressive tactics, sat to her left. He was engrossed in his tablet, tapping away as if she were a mere specter in the room. "Let's move to the agenda," Jacob said, his voice dripping with confidence. He straightened in his chair, completely disregarding Alana's presence. The other board members nodded in agreement, their eyes glued to him, their newly crowned leader. Alana's jaw tightened. It was as if she were invisible, a ghost haunting the very halls she had fought to claim. She had dedicated years to this company, investing time and energy to prove her worth. Yet in this moment, she felt overshadowed by the weight of male dominance that permeated the atmosphere. The echoes of past struggles reverberated in her mind. She was not just the CEO. She was a beacon of change in a world that had long resisted it. "Actually, if I may interject," Alana began, her voice firm but measured. Jacob held up a hand, cutting her off with casual dismissal. "Let's stick to the plan, shall we? I have a proposal regarding a potential partnership with Octavia Tech that I believe warrants our immediate attention." He returned his focus to the tablet, swiping through slides that depicted impressive growth figures and promising statistics, as if she hadn't spoken at all. A wave of frustration washed over Alana. The heat rose to her cheeks as she clenched her fists under the table, her nails digging into her palms. She had worked tirelessly to earn her position, battling stereotypes that sought to define her worth. "Jacob, I think it's crucial we discuss the current state of our company before considering any partnership," Alana asserted, her voice steady and unwavering. "We need to prioritize stability and innovation from within." Jacob glanced up, his expression a mix of amusement and condescension. "Alana, we're in a crisis. Octavia Tech is a thriving competitor. We can't afford to be stubborn. We need their resources to survive." A murmur of agreement rippled through the board members, reinforcing Alana's feeling of isolation. Surviving wasn't enough, she thought, feeling her frustration simmered just below the surface. "We should be aiming to lead, to create a culture that fosters innovation, not just dependency on others." The room fell silent as her words hung in the air. She could feel the weight of their scrutiny, their disbelief palpable. Jacob smirked, leaning back in his chair, his demeanor oozing arrogance. "And how do you propose we do that?" "By throwing more money at a mentorship program." "It's not that simple." Alana inhaled deeply, trying to maintain her composure. She was acutely aware that she was not just fighting against Jacob, but against a whole system that resisted her vision. The memory of her late father's words echoed in her mind. "You have to fight harder than they expect." Just as she was about to respond, she sensed a presence beside her. Kara Wilson, a bright young analyst who had been shadowing Alana for a few months, appeared at the doorway. Her expression was a mix of determination and concern, as if she were ready to take on the world, yet burdened by the weight of reality. "Excuse me, everyone," Kara said, her voice breaking the tension in the room. "I think we should consider Alana's perspective seriously. We need to innovate, not just survive." Alana's heart swelled with pride at Kara's courage. It was a rare beacon of hope amidst the hostility. But as the room erupted in murmurs, Alana knew the battle was only beginning. She would have to fight not just for her position, but for the future of Maris Corp and the change she envisioned. As the discussion shifted back to Jacob's proposal, Alana felt a storm brewing within her, a resolve to reclaim her voice and assert her leadership in this male-dominated arena. She knew the path ahead would be fraught with challenges, but she was prepared to confront them head-on. The following days were a whirlwind of meetings and presentations, each one more challenging than the last. Alana faced Jacob and the board members with determination, countering their dismissive attitudes with her vision for Maris Corp's future. She proposed initiatives aimed at nurturing talent, fostering an inclusive culture, and investing in innovation that would propel the company forward. Yet, every step forward felt like 2 steps back. Jacob's influence over the board members was undeniable. He played the role of the confident leader, while Alana struggled to have her voice heard. The frustration was maddening. With each passing day, she could feel the pressure mounting. It was during one of these tense meetings that a glimmer of hope emerged. A junior analyst, who had recently joined the company, approached Alana after a particularly contentious board meeting. "I just wanted to say," the young woman said, her voice shaking slightly, "I believe in your vision. You're doing an amazing job, and we need someone like you leading us." Alana felt a warmth spread through her chest. It was moments like these that reminded her of why she fought so hard. She was not just a leader. She was a symbol of hope for those who felt unseen and unheard. As the weeks went on, Alana began to forge alliances within the company. She sought out employees who believed in her vision, creating a network of support that transcended the boardroom. Together, they brainstormed ideas and strategies that would elevate Maris Corp's standing in the industry. But it wasn't just the internal politics she had to navigate. Alana was also aware of the external pressures, the competitors who were eager to capitalize on Maris Corp's challenges. As the weeks turned into months, Alana found herself not just fighting for her position, but for the very future of the company she had come to love. One evening, as Alana sat in her office poring over financial reports, Kara knocked lightly on the door. "Alana, can we talk?" she asked, her expression serious. "Of course, Kara. Come in." As Kara settled into the chair across from her, Alana could see the tension etched on her face. "I've been doing some digging," Kara said cautiously, "and I think I've found something you need to see." Alana felt her pulse quicken. "What is it?" Kara pulled out her laptop and opened a series of emails. "It's between Jacob and someone at Octavia Tech. They're discussing plans to undermine your leadership, Alana. They're in cahoots to take control of Maris Corp." Alana's breath hitched in her throat as the implications of Kara's discovery settled in. This was more than just corporate politics. It was a conspiracy aimed at destroying her legacy. "Are you sure?" Alana asked, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions swirling within her. "I can show you the emails," Kara replied, her voice shaking slightly. Alana took a deep breath, her mind racing with the possibilities. She understood now that the battle she faced was not just against Jacob and the board members. It was a fight for the soul of Maris Corp. "Thank you for bringing this to my attention, Kara. We need to act swiftly." As they began to strategize, Alana felt a renewed sense of purpose. She was ready to fight, not just for her position as CEO, but for the future of Maris Corp and the countless individuals who believed in her vision. In that moment, she realized that change was not just possible. It was inevitable. Alana Mitchell was not just a CEO. She was a force to be reckoned with, and she would not be silenced. With her heart full of determination, Alana prepared to embark on a journey that would reshape her destiny and the future of the company she cherished. The Alliance. The following morning dawned bright and clear, but Alana Mitchell's heart was heavy with the weight of revelations uncovered the night before. As she stepped into the bustling halls of Maris Corp, the energy felt different. There was an undercurrent of anticipation coursing through the air. Whispers filled the corridors as employees shared stories of the newly appointed CEO's bold proposals. Alana sensed a change, a collective desire for transformation that had been brewing beneath the surface for far too long. As she entered her office, she glanced at the framed photograph of her father on her desk. He had always taught her to rise above adversity, to stand tall in the face of challenges. That lesson resonated deeply within her now as she faced not only Jacob Barnes's blatant disregard, but also a potential conspiracy that could shake the very foundation of her leadership. With a renewed sense of purpose, Alana began her day by drafting a detailed action plan. A strategic initiative that would not only counter Jacob's schemes, but also inspire her team to rally behind her vision. Before diving into the specifics of her plan, Alana summoned Kara to her office. The young analyst had proven to be a valuable ally, and Alana recognized the importance of having someone with fresh insights and unyielding loyalty by her side. When Kara arrived, she could see the apprehension in her eyes, which only amplified Alana's resolve. "Kara," Alana began, gesturing for her to take a seat, "I want to thank you for bringing those emails to my attention. We're going to need a solid strategy to confront this challenge head-on, and I believe your insights will be invaluable." Kara nodded, her expression shifting from worry to determination. "I'm here to help, Alana. Whatever you need, I'm all in." Alana smiled. "Good. Here's what I'm thinking. We need to leverage our strengths, highlight the talent within this organization, and build a coalition that supports our vision for innovation and growth. Jacob's approach is short-sighted, and if we don't act quickly, we'll be left scrambling for scraps." They brainstormed ideas for the next hour, focusing on employee empowerment and mentorship programs that could elevate the company's culture. Alana emphasized the importance of showcasing the diverse talents within Maris Corp, particularly among women and minorities, who had historically been sidelined in favor of more traditional approaches. "I want to implement a series of workshops and seminars," Alana suggested, her eyes sparkling with excitement. "We can create a platform for our employees to share their ideas and showcase their projects. It will not only foster innovation, but also demonstrate to the board that we have the talent to lead from within." Kara beamed. "I love that idea. We could invite external speakers from successful tech companies who have thrived on diversity and innovation. This will not only inspire our team, but also showcase the potential of our workforce to the board." Alana nodded in agreement. "Exactly. We need to show them that our strength lies not in dependence on partnerships, but in the capabilities we already possess. This is about building a culture of trust and empowerment." With their plans set in motion, Alana and Kara began drafting a proposal for the board, detailing the workshops, mentorship initiatives, and a timeline for implementation. They outlined how these programs could enhance employee engagement and drive innovation at Maris Corp. As they worked tirelessly throughout the day, word began to spread about Alana's upcoming initiatives. Employees who had previously felt disheartened by the dismissive atmosphere in the boardroom started to gather in small groups, discussing their ideas and dreams for the company. A sense of camaraderie developed, and for the first time in years, there was a palpable excitement in the air. During lunch, Alana joined a group of engineers in the break room. The air was thick with the aroma of fresh coffee and pastries, a stark contrast to the sterile atmosphere of the boardroom. As she entered, the conversation quieted momentarily before one of the engineers, a young woman named Priya, spoke up. "Alana, I just wanted to say how inspiring it is to see you taking charge. We've all been waiting for someone to step up and advocate for us," she said, her voice steady but filled with enthusiasm. Alana felt a swell of pride as she listened to Priya. "Thank you, Priya. It's important to me that every voice in this room is heard. We're in this together, and I want to hear your ideas." As the conversation resumed, ideas flowed freely. Alana listened intently, jotting down notes and encouraging her colleagues to share their thoughts without fear of judgment. The atmosphere felt alive with possibility. Ideas ranged from improving internal communication to launching new products that embraced emerging technologies, and Alana found herself invigorated by the creative energy around her. That evening, as Alana returned to her office, she felt a sense of hope blossom within her. But she knew she could not afford to become complacent. The threat from Jacob loomed large. He was a cunning strategist, and the board members were easily swayed by his charisma. Alana needed to act fast. With a sense of urgency, she called an impromptu meeting with her core team, a mix of engineers, marketers, and analysts who had shown unwavering support during her tenure. They gathered in the conference room, their faces lit by the soft glow of the overhead lights. "Thank you all for coming on short notice," Alana began, her tone serious yet passionate. "I want to address what's been happening behind the scenes. There's an undercurrent of dissent brewing against our leadership, and it's imperative that we act swiftly to protect our vision for Maris Corp." The room fell silent as her team absorbed her words. "Jacob Barnes is orchestrating plans to undermine our leadership, and we need to build a united front. Together, we will showcase the incredible talent within this company, demonstrating to the board that we are not just employees. We are innovators and leaders in our own right." The atmosphere crackled with determination. Ideas bounced around the room, and Alana encouraged each team member to share their thoughts. They strategized on how to frame their initiatives, how to present their progress to the board, and how to rally other employees to their cause. As the meeting progressed, Alana felt a renewed sense of clarity. She realized that the real power lay not just in her position, but in the people she had inspired. They were her allies in this battle, ready to support her vision and defend against the tide of adversity. In the weeks that followed, Alana and her team worked tirelessly. They organized workshops that showcased innovative projects, encouraged employees to submit their ideas for review, and facilitated open forums where individuals could express their thoughts without fear of judgment. Each event brought the company closer together, fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose. However, the shadow of Jacob's influence remained ever present. Despite their best efforts, Alana couldn't shake the feeling that he was plotting something more sinister. Late one evening, while reviewing reports in her office, she received an anonymous tip from a whistleblower within the company. "Alana," the email read, "you need to know that Jacob is making moves to rally support from certain board members. He's not just looking for a partnership, he's trying to oust you. They're planning to call for a vote of no confidence next month." Alana's heart raced as she read the email. The urgency of the situation hit her like a freight train. Time was of the essence, and she needed to act decisively. The next morning, Alana gathered her core team again. "We have a serious situation on our hands. Jacob is maneuvering to undermine our leadership, and we need to prepare for a possible vote of no confidence," she said, her tone steady yet firm. The group looked at one another, their expressions a mixture of concern and resolve. "We can't let him win," Priya said, her voice unwavering. "We've worked too hard to build this momentum. If we can show the board the value of our initiatives and the support we have from employees, we can turn this around." Alana nodded. "Exactly. We need to amplify our efforts and get as many employees on board as possible. We can organize a company-wide meeting where everyone can share their success stories and ideas. This will not only highlight our talent but also demonstrate the unity we've built." In the following weeks, Alana and her team prepared for the pivotal meeting. They crafted presentations that showcased the innovative projects being developed within Maris Corp, highlighting the diverse voices that had contributed to the company's growth. As the date approached, Alana felt a mix of excitement and anxiety. The stakes were higher than ever. She had come too far to allow Jacob to snatch her hard-earned position away from her. On the day of the meeting, the boardroom was filled with anticipation. Employees gathered, buzzing with energy as they prepared to share their ideas and successes. Alana stood at the front, her heart pounding, as she took a moment to absorb the scene around her. "This is our moment," she thought. "Together, we will show them what we can achieve." As the meeting commenced, Alana introduced each speaker, allowing them to present their projects and initiatives. Each success story underscored the talent within Corp and the importance of supporting diverse voices in leadership. The board members watched, their expressions shifting from skepticism to intrigue. Alana felt the tides turning, the energy in the room shifting in her favor. Jacob sat at the end of the table, his face a mask of irritation as he watched her command the room. As the presentations wrapped up, Alana seized the moment to address the board directly. Today, we've showcased the incredible talent and innovation that thrives within our company. We are not merely surviving. We are leading and transforming the tech industry. I urge you to recognize the potential we have and to support our initiatives moving forward. As the room erupted in applause, Alana felt a surge of hope. She had rallied her team and allies, proving to the board that they were a force to be reckoned with. But as the meeting drew to a close, Jacob stood up, his expression darkening. While I appreciate the enthusiasm displayed here today, we must remember that not all ideas lead to success. This company needs strong leadership and strategic partnerships to survive. Alana felt a chill run down her spine as she realized that Jacob would not go down without a fight. He would continue to undermine her efforts, seeking to drive a wedge between her and the board members. In that moment, Alana made a silent vow. She would not allow Jacob to dictate her future or the future of Corp. With newfound determination, she prepared to confront the storm that lay ahead, ready to fight for her vision and the countless individuals who believed in her leadership. As the days passed, Alana fortified her alliances within the company and sought support from board members who had shown signs of interest in her initiatives. She organized meetings with key stakeholders, presenting her vision and the potential impact it could have on Corp's future. Slowly but surely, she began to gain traction, building a coalition of supporters who recognized the value of her approach. But Jacob was relentless. He launched a counter-campaign, undermining her at every turn, twisting her words, and leveraging his connections to sway board members. Alana felt the pressure mounting as she navigated this treacherous landscape, determined to stay one step ahead of his tactics. During this time, Alana found solace in the support of her team. They would often gather after work, sharing ideas and strategizing on how to bolster their initiatives. In those moments, the camaraderie and trust among them grew stronger, reinforcing Alana's belief in the power of collective action. One evening, while reviewing feedback from a recent workshop, Alana received an unexpected call from a board member she hadn't expected to hear from. Linda Evans, the company's head of marketing. "Alana, I've been watching your progress closely," Linda said, her voice warm but serious. "I want you to know that I believe in what you're doing. You're creating a culture that we desperately need at Corp, and I want to support you." Alana felt a rush of gratitude. "Thank you, Linda. Your support means the world to me, especially now. I know Jacob is pushing hard against us, but I truly believe we can turn this around. I have some ideas on how we can position your initiatives to the board in a way that highlights their potential impact," Linda replied. "We need to show them that this isn't just a fleeting trend, but a necessary evolution for our company's future." As they brainstormed ideas, Alana felt a renewed sense of hope. With allies like Linda rallying around her, she could see a path forward, one that would require resilience, strategy, and unwavering determination. Meanwhile, Jacob continued to amplify his efforts to undermine Alana's leadership. He sought to create division among the board members, attempting to sway them with half-truths and manipulation. Yet the more he pushed, the more Alana's allies rallied around her, ready to defend her vision. As the vote of no confidence loomed, the tension in the air grew palpable. Alana knew she needed to prepare for the worst, but she also recognized the power of unity. She decided to organize a company-wide meeting, inviting all employees to voice their support for her leadership and share their experiences of the positive changes taking place at Corp. On the day of the meeting, Alana stood before a crowd of her colleagues, the energy in the room electric. Employees filled the auditorium, their faces filled with anticipation and support. Alana felt a surge of emotion as she looked out at the sea of familiar faces, each one representing the dreams, ambitions, and hopes that had driven her to fight for change. "Thank you all for being here today," Alana began, her voice steady. "This is not just about me. This is about us, our collective vision for Maris Corp. Together, we have built a culture of innovation, trust, and empowerment. It is time for our voices to be heard, and for us to stand united in the face of adversity." The audience erupted into applause, and Alana felt her heart swell with pride. This was the moment she had fought for, the moment where they could all come together and declare their commitment to change. As employees began to share their success stories and the positive impact of the initiatives they had implemented, Alana felt the momentum shift in her favor. Each voice added weight to their collective cause, reinforcing the message that they were more than just a corporation. They were a community striving for greatness. In that moment, Alana realized that she was not alone. She had a network of supporters who believed in her vision, and they were willing to stand up against Jacob's schemes. The tide was turning, and the winds of change were beginning to blow in her direction. As the meeting concluded, Alana felt a renewed sense of determination. She had ignited a fire within her team, and together they would confront the challenges ahead. Jacob might be formidable, but with the strength of her allies and the passion of her employees, she was ready to face whatever lay ahead. The day of the vote arrived, and Alana found herself standing before the board members, her heart pounding. Jacob was seated at the end of the table, his expression smug and confident. Alana took a deep breath, reminding herself of the allies she had built and the collective support that surrounded her. As the meeting commenced, the board members began to share their thoughts on the initiatives and the changes Alana had spearheaded. Alana could feel the tension in the room, but she remained composed, answering questions and addressing concerns with poise. Finally, it was time for the vote. The room fell silent as the board members cast their ballots. Alana's heart raced as she awaited the results, her mind racing with possibilities. When the results were announced, the tension in the air was palpable. "The vote of no confidence has been denied," the chairperson declared, a note of disbelief in their voice. Alana Mitchell remains the CEO of Maris Corp. A wave of relief washed over Alana, and the room erupted in applause. She had done it. She had fought against the tide and emerged victorious. As she looked around the room, she saw the faces of her allies and supporters beaming with pride. This was not just her victory. It was a collective triumph for everyone who believed in the power of change. In the aftermath of the vote, Alana knew that the fight was far from over. Jacob would not accept defeat easily. He would continue to scheme and plot against her, but she was ready. She had forged a network of allies, ignited a fire within her team, and proven that together they could overcome any challenge. With renewed determination, Alana set her sights on the future. She would continue to advocate for innovation and inclusivity, building a culture that empowered every individual within Maris Corp. She would not just lead, she would inspire others to rise alongside her. As she walked out of the boardroom, the sun shining brightly outside, Alana felt a surge of hope. The journey ahead would be filled with challenges, but she was prepared to face them head-on. Maris Corp was not just a company, it was a community that was ready to rise above adversity and embrace a future of innovation, inclusivity, and empowerment. And Alana Mitchell was ready to lead the charge. The reckoning. In the weeks following the vote of no confidence, Maris Corp experienced a palpable shift in energy. Employees walked the halls with a renewed sense of purpose, and innovative ideas flowed freely from all levels of the organization. Alana Mitchell had ignited a spark of collaboration that was not only reshaping the corporate culture, but also restoring the trust that had been lost under Jacob Barnes's tenure. Alana immersed herself in her work, tirelessly implementing the initiatives she had proposed. The workshops and mentorship programs she had envisioned began to take shape, fostering a sense of community within the organization. Employees who once felt sidelined were now actively contributing their insights, and the diversity of ideas was invigorating. It was a testament to what could be achieved when people felt valued and empowered. During this transformative period, Alana made a point to connect with her employees personally. She held open forums, inviting anyone to share their thoughts and ideas. These sessions were often filled with laughter, enthusiasm, and a sense of unity. Alana took pride in knowing that every voice mattered and that the collective strength of the team would propel them toward success. One day, while preparing for an upcoming workshop, Alana received a message from her assistant, Lisa. "Alana, Jacob Barnes is requesting a meeting with you," Lisa announced hesitantly. Alana's heart sank. She had hoped Jacob would retreat into the shadows after his defeat. "Set it up," Alana replied, steeling herself. "I want to hear what he has to say." The meeting was scheduled for the following week. Alana spent the days leading up to it mentally preparing herself. What could Jacob possibly want? Had he learned from his defeat, or was this another ploy to undermine her? When the day arrived, Alana walked into the conference room with a firm resolve. Jacob was already seated, his expression inscrutable as he regarded her. He wore a crisp navy suit, the same one he had worn during the board meeting that had sealed his fate. "Alana," he began, his tone smooth yet calculated. "Thank you for agreeing to meet with me. I wanted to extend my congratulations on retaining your position. It's clear that you have garnered significant support within the company." "Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate your acknowledgement," Alana replied, her voice steady. "What's this about?" Jacob leaned back in his chair, his demeanor shifting slightly. "I'm not here to stir up trouble, Alana. I've taken a step back to reassess my position and the direction of Maris Corp. I realize now that I could have approached things differently." Alana narrowed her eyes, unsure of whether to believe him. "And what do you propose?" "I believe we can find common ground," Jacob said, his voice smooth and persuasive. "Our industry is evolving rapidly, and it would be prudent for us to collaborate rather than divide. Together, we could harness our strengths and lead Maris Corp to new heights." Alana raised an eyebrow, intrigued yet wary. "What exactly do you have in mind?" "I propose a partnership," Jacob continued. "I can leverage my connections to drive strategic initiatives that could elevate our market position. Your approach is commendable, but I can offer insights and resources that will accelerate our growth." Alana considered his words carefully. The idea of collaboration was tempting, especially given the challenges the company faced in the competitive landscape. However, the memory of Jacob's machinations lingered in her mind, and she couldn't shake the feeling that there might be an ulterior motive behind his sudden change of heart. "Let me think about it, Jacob," she said finally, her tone non-committal. "I appreciate your offer, but I need to discuss it with my team before making any decisions." Jacob nodded, masking his disappointment. "Of course. Just know that I believe in the potential of Maris Corp, and I'm willing to help in any way I can." As Alana left the meeting, she felt a mix of unease and contemplation. Could she really trust Jacob? Was he genuinely interested in a partnership, or was this just a strategic move to regain influence within the company? The following days were a whirlwind of activity as Alana continued to execute her initiatives. The workshops had garnered significant interest, and employees eagerly signed up to participate. Each session was filled with vibrant discussions, creative problem-solving, and a sense of belonging. Alana reveled in the positive atmosphere, her confidence growing with each passing day. However, despite the momentum, whispers about Jacob's proposal lingered in the air. Alana confided in Kara, who had become her most trusted confidant throughout the upheaval. "I'm torn, Kara," Alana admitted one evening as they reviewed feedback from a recent workshop. "Jacob's offer sounds appealing on the surface, but I can't shake the feeling that there's more to his intentions." Kara leaned back in her chair, contemplating Alana's dilemma. It's understandable to feel cautious. Jacob has a history of manipulation, and his sudden willingness to collaborate raises red flags. But at the same time, if he genuinely wants to help, it could benefit the company. "I know," Alana sighed, rubbing her temples. "I need to gather more information before making any decisions. I'll speak with Linda and see what she thinks." She's got a good grasp of the marketing landscape and the competitive dynamics. The next day, Alana met with Linda over coffee. As they discussed the progress of recent initiatives, Alana broached the topic of Jacob's proposal. "Linda, I had an interesting meeting with Jacob. He's suggesting a partnership to leverage our strengths and drive growth," Alana explained, watching Linda's expression closely. Linda frowned. "Be cautious, Alana. Jacob has a way of twisting situations to his advantage. It's possible he's trying to position himself back in the limelight, especially after his defeat." "I agree," Alana replied. "But if he can genuinely contribute to our success, it might be worth considering. We're in a competitive industry, and collaboration could be beneficial." Linda nodded slowly, her brow furrowed in thought. "Maybe we could invite him to one of our upcoming workshops. It would allow him to see the talent we have and give him a taste of the culture we're fostering. If he's sincere, he'll engage positively with the team." Alana liked that idea. "That way, we can gauge his intentions in a more informal setting. I'll reach out to him and see if he's open to joining us." As the days went by, Alana prepared for the workshop, excited about the prospect of showcasing the vibrant atmosphere that had taken root at Mariscorp. Jacob agreed to attend, and Alana felt a mix of anticipation and apprehension. On the day of the workshop, the atmosphere buzzed with energy. Employees gathered in the conference room, ready to share their ideas and participate in brainstorming sessions. Alana introduced the day's agenda, highlighting the importance of collaboration and open dialogue. When Jacob arrived, he was met with a mix of curiosity and skepticism from the employees. Alana could sense the tension in the room, but she maintained her composure, welcoming him warmly. "Thank you all for being here today," Alana began. "We have a special guest joining us, Jacob Barnes, the former CEO of Mariscorp. Today, we'll engage in discussions that celebrate our innovation and explore new possibilities." As the workshop unfolded, employees shared their projects, ideas, and feedback. Alana encouraged collaboration, urging team members to build off one another's concepts. Jacob observed closely, interjecting occasionally with insights that sometimes resonated but often felt calculated. Despite his efforts, the employees remained skeptical. They were cautious about his presence, and Alana could see that Jacob's attempts to engage felt forced. As the day progressed, it became evident that while he might have had good ideas, his motivations were still shrouded in uncertainty. At the end of the workshop, Alana opened the floor for feedback. "I'd love to hear your thoughts on today's session. What worked, and what could we improve?" One of the junior engineers, a spirited young woman named Maya, raised her hand. "I think it was great to share our projects, but I feel like Jacob's contributions were a bit off. It seemed like he was trying too hard to steer the conversation toward his own agenda." Alana nodded, appreciating Maya's honesty. "That's valuable feedback, Maya. Our goal is to foster open discussions, and if anyone feels like the conversation is being redirected, it's essential we address that." Another employee chimed in. "I agree. It's important for us to maintain the focus on our ideas and the direction we want to take. If Jacob is genuinely interested in collaborating, he needs to engage with us, not overshadow our efforts." Alana felt a wave of pride for her team. Their willingness to speak openly and hold Jacob accountable reflected the culture she had worked so hard to cultivate. After the workshop, Alana pulled Jacob aside. "I appreciate your participation today, but I sensed some hesitation from the team. If you're serious about collaborating, I suggest you engage with them on their terms, rather than trying to assert your influence." Jacob's expression hardened, and Alana caught a glimpse of the ego beneath the polished facade. "I was simply trying to offer my expertise," he replied, defensively. "I understand, but expertise is most valuable when it aligns with the needs and goals of the team," Alana said firmly. "If you want to be a part of this, you'll need to let go of the need to control the narrative." With that, she walked away, leaving Jacob to ponder her words. The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity as Alana's initiatives continued to gain momentum. The feedback from the workshop had spurred a new level of engagement among employees, and Alana felt a sense of fulfillment as she witnessed the transformation taking place. But just as things seemed to be progressing, Jacob struck again. He began circulating a series of emails to board members, subtly planting seeds of doubt about Alana's leadership and the direction of Maris Corp. He would reference her recent initiatives, but framed them as untested experiments that could jeopardize the company's stability. Alana's heart sank as she received word of Jacob's campaign. She felt betrayed, but she also knew that this was a critical moment for her to respond decisively. With the support of her allies, Alana organized a board meeting to address the concerns Jacob had raised. She meticulously prepared a presentation, showcasing the positive impact of her initiatives, supported by data and employee testimonials. When the meeting began, Alana stood before the board, her confidence unwavering. "Thank you all for gathering today. I understand there have been concerns regarding the initiatives we've implemented, and I want to address them head-on." As she presented her findings, she saw board members nodding, intrigued by the evidence of success and employee satisfaction. Alana highlighted key metrics, employee retention rates, increased productivity, and the innovative projects that had emerged from the workshops. "We're not just making changes for the sake of change," Alana continued. "We're building a culture that empowers our employees to thrive, to innovate, and to drive Maris Corp forward. This is about our future, one that is inclusive, dynamic, and resilient." As Alana spoke, she could feel the energy in the room shifting. Board members began to ask questions, engaging in the conversation rather than pushing back against her proposals. When Jacob finally spoke up, he tried to redirect the discussion back to his narrative, attempting to undermine Alana's progress. "While I appreciate the enthusiasm, we must also consider the risks involved. Change can be detrimental if not executed properly." Alana met his gaze, her resolve unwavering. "Change is inevitable, Jacob. What matters is how we adapt and harness it for our growth. Maris Corp has the potential to lead in innovation, but that requires us to embrace new ideas and empower our teams." In that moment, she could sense the board members rallying around her. They were no longer swayed by Jacob's manipulations. They could see the vision Alana had for the company. As the meeting concluded, the board voted overwhelmingly in favor of Alana's initiatives, solidifying her position as a transformative leader within Maris Corp. Stepping out of the meeting room, Alana felt a rush of triumph. She had faced Jacob's tactics head-on, and with the support of her allies and employees, she had emerged victorious. But as she reflected on the battle, Alana knew that the war was far from over. Jacob would not give up easily, and his attempts to undermine her leadership would continue. As she walked through the halls of Maris Corp, she felt the strength of her team behind her. Together, they had weathered the storm, and together, they would forge a path toward a brighter future. With her vision clearer than ever, Alana was ready to take on the next challenge, confident that she had the support of a community dedicated to innovation, empowerment, and growth. The counterattack. In the wake of her recent victory, Alana Mitchell felt invigorated, her spirit buoyed by the support of her employees and board members. The initiatives she had implemented were taking root, fostering a culture of innovation and collaboration that had long been absent at Maris Corp. But lurking beneath the surface was Jacob Barnes, a formidable opponent whose ambitions were far from extinguished. Alana knew that she had to remain vigilant. Jacob's defeat had not humbled him. Rather, it had fueled a fire within him that threatened to reignite his campaign against her leadership. She had witnessed his manipulative tactics before, and she wouldn't underestimate him again. As the days passed, Alana focused on reinforcing the company's new direction. She initiated weekly check-ins with team leaders, encouraging them to share their successes and challenges. The atmosphere in these meetings was one of camaraderie and support, a stark contrast to the cold, competitive environment that had existed under Jacob's rule. One afternoon, while reviewing project updates, Alana received an unexpected call from Linda, her trusted marketing director. Alana, I've been doing some digging. Linda began, her tone serious. It looks like Jacob has been reaching out to some of our major clients. He's been subtly undermining your leadership and trying to position himself as the go-to person for strategic initiatives. Alana's stomach churned. What exactly is he saying? He's framing it as concern for the company's future, suggesting that your initiatives are untested and risky. He's trying to create doubt in our clients' minds about our stability, Linda explained. If this continues, it could seriously impact our relationships and our bottom line. Alana felt a surge of anger. Jacob was attempting to undermine her from the outside, playing the victim while trying to regain influence within the company. She knew she had to act quickly to counter his narrative before it gained momentum. Let's set up a meeting with the senior leadership team, Alana decided. We need to be proactive in addressing this. I'll prepare a comprehensive plan to reassure our clients about our direction and the solid foundation we're building. As Alana and Linda collaborated on the presentation, they gathered data and testimonials that highlighted the positive changes within the company. They contacted satisfied clients who had witnessed firsthand the benefits of Mariscorp's new initiatives. When the day of the senior leadership meeting arrived, Alana felt a mix of determination and anxiety. She entered the conference room, where her leadership team was already gathered, their expressions a blend of concern and anticipation. Thank you for coming, everyone, Alana began, her voice steady. As you may have heard, Jacob has been reaching out to our clients, spreading misinformation about our initiatives and creating doubt about our leadership. It's time we take action. She presented the comprehensive plan, outlining strategies to engage clients and reinforce their confidence in Mariscorp. The room buzzed with ideas as they brainstormed ways to reach out to their clients and demonstrate the positive impact of the recent changes. As the meeting progressed, Alana felt a wave of inspiration wash over her. The energy in the room was electric, and she could see her team rallying behind her, eager to defend their vision for the company. Let's schedule meetings with our key clients, Alana suggested. We'll present our initiatives and showcase the positive feedback we've received from employees and other stakeholders. We need to reassure them that Mariscorp is on the path to success. The leadership team nodded in agreement, enthusiasm sparking in their eyes. They spent the next few hours crafting personalized messages for each client, emphasizing the value they brought and the exciting developments ahead. As the days passed, Alana and her team reached out to clients, holding meetings to discuss the company's vision and the positive changes taking place. The response was overwhelmingly supportive. Clients appreciated the transparency and were impressed by the momentum within Mariscorp. However, Jacob was relentless. Despite Alana's efforts, he continued to reach out to clients, attempting to undermine her at every turn. He'd even gone so far as to leak a few of her internal strategies to the media, painting her initiatives as reckless and untested. One afternoon, Alana was caught off guard when a journalist called her office for a comment. Alana, we're hearing some troubling reports regarding your leadership and the direction of Mariscorp. Can you respond to the allegations that your initiatives are creating instability within the company? Alana took a deep breath, feeling the weight of the world on her shoulders. I appreciate your call. I'd like to clarify that the changes we're implementing are designed to foster a culture of innovation and collaboration. We're seeing positive results and support from both our employees and clients. I'm confident that our direction is not only stable, but also essential for our growth in this competitive landscape. She hung up the phone, her heart racing. The media scrutiny added another layer of complexity to the situation. Alana knew she needed to confront Jacob directly, but she also needed to ensure that her team felt supported and confident moving forward. The following week, Alana called for a special board meeting to address the recent media reports and the ongoing issues with Jacob. As the board members gathered, she felt a renewed sense of purpose. This was her moment to stand firm and demonstrate her leadership. Thank you all for coming, Alana began, her voice calm but authoritative. I want to address the recent media attention surrounding our initiatives and the comments made by Jacob. It's crucial that we all stand united during this time. Alana presented a detailed report on the progress of her initiatives, showcasing the positive feedback from employees, clients, and stakeholders. She emphasized the importance of maintaining transparency and trust within the organization. Jacob has been actively attempting to undermine our efforts, she continued. I want to assure you that we are moving in the right direction. I have complete faith in the team we've built, and together we will weather this storm. A board member spoke up. Alana, we've seen the positive impact of your leadership. How do you plan to counter Jacob's narrative moving forward? We need to be proactive, Alana replied confidently. I suggest we hold a press conference to address the media attention and share our vision for the future. It's time we take control of the narrative and showcase the strength of our leadership and the progress we've made. The board members nodded, recognizing the validity of her proposal. They discussed the logistics of the press conference, strategizing how to effectively communicate their message. As the date approached, Alana felt a mix of excitement and nerves. She knew that this was a critical moment for Maris Corp and her leadership. The press conference would be her opportunity to assert control over the narrative and rally support for her initiatives. On the day of the press conference, Alana stood before a gathering of journalists and industry leaders, her heart pounding in her chest. She felt a wave of determination wash over her as she prepared to address the room. Thank you all for joining us today, Alana began, her voice strong. I want to take this opportunity to discuss the recent media reports regarding Maris Corp and address any concerns surrounding our leadership and initiatives. As she spoke, she outlined the positive changes taking place within the company, emphasizing the support and engagement from employees and clients alike. Alana highlighted key metrics that showcased the success of their initiatives, reinforcing the narrative of stability and growth. While there may be challenges ahead, I firmly believe that we are on the right path, she continued. Our commitment to innovation, collaboration, and inclusivity is unwavering. Together, we will shape the future of Maris Corp and lead the industry with integrity and vision. The press conference ended on a high note, with reporters asking insightful questions and expressing appreciation for Alana's transparency. As she walked off the stage, Alana felt a renewed sense of strength and clarity. She had taken control of the narrative and had rallied support for her vision. However, Jacob was not done fighting. He began to craft a counter-narrative, reaching out to industry insiders and attempting to sway public opinion against Alana. He fed information to a few sympathetic journalists, painting her initiatives as desperate attempts to cover up internal strife. Back at Maris Corp, Alana felt the tension in the air. Employees were aware of the ongoing struggle, and some expressed concern about Jacob's influence. Alana knew she had to maintain morale and trust among her team. She decided to hold a company-wide town hall meeting to address the situation openly. As employees gathered, Alana stood at the front of the room, her heart racing. This was her chance to reassure her team and demonstrate her unwavering commitment to them. Thank you all for being here today, Alana began, her voice steady. I know there's been a lot of chatter lately regarding our leadership and direction. I want to take this opportunity to address your concerns directly. She spoke candidly about the challenges they were facing, acknowledging Jacob's attempts to undermine her leadership, but she also highlighted the incredible progress they had made together. Maris Corp is more than just a company, it's a community, Alana said passionately. Each of you plays a vital role in our success, and together we will continue to innovate and grow. I'm proud of the work we've accomplished, and I have complete faith in our vision for the future. As she spoke, she could see the energy in the room shift. Employees were nodding in agreement, and she felt a wave of solidarity wash over her. They were in this together, and they would rise above the challenges ahead. In the days that followed, Alana's unwavering resolve began to bear fruit. Employees rallied around her, collaborating on new projects and sharing ideas that would push Maris Corp to the forefront of the industry. The momentum was undeniable, and Alana felt the tide turning in her favor. But Jacob was still plotting. He refused to back down and began to escalate his efforts, seeking alliances with other disgruntled members of the board. Alana knew that she had to stay one step ahead of him, strategizing for the battles that lay ahead. As the struggle between them intensified, Alana found herself fueled by her passion for Maris Corp and her belief in the transformative power of leadership. She was determined to protect her vision, her team, and the future of the company. Together, they would not only survive but thrive, emerging stronger than ever before. Unmasking the enemy. The weeks that followed Alana's successful town hall meeting were marked by an atmosphere of renewed hope and determination at Maris Corp. Employees embraced the vision she had laid out, passionately working on new projects and collaborations that would position the company as a leader in innovation. Alana felt invigorated. She had rallied her team around a common purpose. Yet the tension between her and Jacob Barnes simmered beneath the surface, and she knew she had to remain vigilant. In the days following the town hall, Alana received a flood of messages from employees expressing their support. Many shared ideas for new initiatives, reflecting a newfound spirit of innovation and engagement. Among them was Kara Wilson, Alana's dedicated junior analyst, who had shown remarkable insight in previous discussions. One afternoon, as Alana reviewed Kara's proposal for a new marketing campaign focused on employee achievements, she noticed an email from Jacob. The subject line sent a chill down her spine. Proposal for a strategic alliance. She clicked it open, her heart racing. As she read through the email, her suspicions were confirmed. Jacob was reaching out to a rival company, trying to position himself as a key player while simultaneously undermining Alana's authority. He outlined a plan to form a strategic alliance with a competing tech firm, leveraging their resources against Maris Corp. Unbelievable, Alana muttered, frustration coursing through her veins. It was clear that Jacob had not only failed to learn from the recent defeats but had doubled down on his schemes. He was positioning himself as the savior of Maris Corp while attempting to fracture the trust she had built with her team. Alana knew she had to confront Jacob directly, but she also needed to gather evidence to support her case. She reached out to Linda, who had previously shared information about Jacob's tactics. Together, they brainstormed ways to expose his manipulative strategies while keeping their cards close to their chests. Let's monitor his communications, Linda suggested. If he's contacting clients and rival companies, we might be able to gather evidence to support your claims. Alana nodded, her mind racing with possibilities. We need to ensure our approach is discreet. I don't want to alert Jacob to our actions. As they set their plan into motion, Alana also took a moment to meet with her leadership team. She needed to ensure they were on the same page regarding Jacob's maneuvers. The following day, she called for an emergency meeting, gathering her most trusted directors to discuss the situation. As they settled into their seats, Alana felt the weight of the room's expectation resting on her shoulders. "Thank you all for coming on short notice," she began. "I wanted to bring you together to address an ongoing issue with Jacob. He has been attempting to undermine my leadership and is reaching out to potential partners without my knowledge." Concern washed over the room as the directors exchanged glances. Alana continued, "I'm working on gathering evidence of his communications and will need your support as we navigate this situation. We must present a united front to our employees and clients." "I've noticed some unusual activities as well," remarked Marcus, the CFO. "There have been whispers among our clients about a possible partnership with a competitor. It seems Jacob is working to sow doubt about our direction." Alana nodded, her resolve strengthening. "We'll need to act swiftly. I want to formulate a plan that reaffirms our commitment to our clients and showcases the strength of our team. We cannot allow Jacob to exploit any vulnerabilities." As they brainstormed strategies, Kara entered the room, holding a file in her hands. "I've been working on a report about the recent market trends and how they align with our initiatives," she said, her eyes bright with determination. "I think it could help counter Jacob's narrative." Alana smiled at Kara's initiative. "That's excellent, Kara. We'll integrate it into our upcoming presentations. Your insights will be invaluable in demonstrating our growth and vision. Over the next few days, Alana and her team worked tirelessly, gathering evidence of Jacob's attempts to undermine her leadership and presenting a united front to their clients. They carefully crafted messages that reinforced their commitment to innovation, transparency, and collaboration. As the pressure mounted, Alana felt the intensity of the situation weighing on her. She spent sleepless nights reviewing reports, preparing presentations, and anticipating Jacob's next moves. Each day brought new challenges, and the battle between them escalated. One afternoon, as Alana was reviewing her notes for an upcoming client meeting, she received an anonymous tip-off. The email hinted at an imminent meeting between Jacob and representatives from the rival company he had been courting. The sender encouraged her to act quickly to protect Mariscorp's interests. Alana's heart raced as she considered her options. This was an opportunity to catch Jacob in the act. She quickly gathered her leadership team, sharing the information with them. "If Jacob is meeting with our rivals, we need to act now," she said decisively. "We have to confront him and expose his true intentions." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "But how do we do that without making ourselves look petty or vindictive?" "We present the facts," Alana replied. "If we can obtain evidence of his collusion with a competitor, we can approach the board and make our case for his removal. It's crucial that we act with integrity while protecting Mariscorp's future." The team rallied around Alana's plan, and they worked tirelessly to gather more information. With Kara's help, they began contacting sources within the industry, hoping to uncover any details that would bolster their case against Jacob. Meanwhile, Alana kept a close eye on Jacob's movements. She learned that he had scheduled a meeting with representatives from the rival company for Thursday afternoon. The wheels in her mind turned as she strategized her next steps. On the day of the meeting, Alana and her team set a plan into motion. They decided to send Kara to the meeting under the guise of a client interested in potential collaborations, while the rest of the leadership team would gather in a nearby cafe to discuss their next steps. Alana's heart raced as she handed Kara a small recorder to document the conversation. "Stay alert, Kara," Alana instructed, her tone serious. "We need to know what they're planning. This could be the evidence we need." With a nod, Kara slipped out of the office, her expression a mix of determination and nervousness. Alana watched her go, praying for her success. As Alana and a leadership team convened in the cafe, they reviewed their strategy. They had prepared a statement that would articulate their commitment to integrity and innovation, while also addressing any fallout from Jacob's actions. Hours passed, each minute stretching into an eternity. Finally, Kara returned, her eyes wide with excitement. "I have it," she exclaimed, pulling out the recorder. "I heard everything." Alana's heart raced as they huddled around the recorder, their attention focused on Kara's revelations. As they played back the recording, Jacob's voice filled the room. "Look, if we can position ourselves as a better alternative to Mariscorp, we'll have the upper hand," Jacob said, his tone smooth yet calculating. "Their leadership is weak, and with the right connections, we can capitalize on their vulnerabilities." The room fell silent as Alana's heart sank. Jacob was not only trying to undermine her, but was also plotting to steal clients away from Mariscorp. As they continued to listen, Jacob laid out his plans in detail, revealing his attempts to convince clients that Alana's initiatives were unstable and risky. The leadership team exchanged horrified glances, the gravity of Jacob's betrayal sinking in. When the recording ended, Alana turned to her team, her expression fierce. "This is our chance. We have the evidence we need to confront him and protect Mariscorp. We cannot let his manipulations go unchecked." The team rallied around her, fueled by a shared sense of purpose. They crafted a detailed report documenting Jacob's actions, including the recording, and planned to present it to the board during their next meeting. As the day of the board meeting arrived, Alana felt a mixture of apprehension and determination. She was ready to expose Jacob for who he truly was and protect her vision for Mariscorp. When she entered the boardroom, the tension in the air was palpable. Board members exchanged glances, their expressions a blend of concern and curiosity. Alana took a deep breath, centering herself before addressing the room. "Thank you for gathering here today," Alana began, her voice steady. "I have called this meeting to address the ongoing issues surrounding Jacob Barnes and his recent actions to undermine my leadership and threaten the future of Maris Corp." As she presented the evidence, she could feel the weight of the board's scrutiny. She outlined Jacob's manipulative tactics, supported by the recording and detailed accounts from clients and employees. Jacob has attempted to position himself as a better alternative for our clients, spreading misinformation and creating doubt about our direction, Alana asserted. His actions are detrimental not only to our company, but also to our employees and clients who have put their trust in us. As she spoke, she could see the board members shifting uncomfortably in their seats. The truth was undeniable, and Alana felt a surge of strength as she laid out her case. When she finished, the room fell silent. Jacob sat at the far end of the table, his expression a mix of disbelief and anger. He tried to interrupt, but Alana raised her hand, silencing him. "This isn't just about me, Jacob," she continued, her tone unwavering. "This is about the future of Maris Corp and the integrity of our leadership. We cannot allow betrayal to fester within our ranks." After a tense pause, one of the board members finally spoke up. "Alana, we appreciate your transparency and the evidence you've presented. It's clear that Jacob's actions have compromised the trust we need to operate effectively." The discussion intensified, board members weighing the implications of Jacob's betrayal. Alana's heart raced as she listened, knowing that the outcome of this meeting would determine the future of Maris Corp. Finally, the board reached a consensus, and the chairperson turned to Jacob. "We must uphold the integrity of our leadership. Jacob, effective immediately, we are terminating your position at Maris Corp." Alana felt a rush of relief wash over her. It was a hard-fought victory, and she had emerged stronger than ever. As Jacob gathered his things, a mixture of anger and disbelief on his face, Alana turned to her team, who were smiling with pride. "We did it," she whispered, gratitude swelling in her chest. They had stood united against adversity, proving that their vision for Maris Corp could not be easily shaken. As Jacob exited the boardroom, Alana took a moment to gather her thoughts. This was just the beginning of a new chapter for Maris Corp. She had fought not just for her position, but for the future of the company, her team, and the vision of a more inclusive and innovative workplace. As she left the boardroom, she felt empowered, ready to embrace the challenges ahead. Alana knew that leading a company was never easy, but with a team that believed in her, she was determined to navigate the complexities of leadership with integrity, passion, and a renewed sense of purpose. The road ahead would be filled with challenges, but Alana was prepared to face them head-on. She would continue to inspire her team and champion a culture of innovation, knowing that together they could transform Maris Corp into a beacon of excellence in the industry. Rising from the ashes. With Jacob Barnes out of the picture, the atmosphere at Maris Corp began to shift. What had once been a cloud of uncertainty and division transformed into a renewed spirit of collaboration and innovation. Alana Mitchell, now unencumbered by the toxic undercurrents of Jacob's betrayal, turned her focus toward revitalizing the company culture and expanding their horizons. In the weeks following Jacob's departure, Alana organized a series of workshops and team-building exercises to foster unity and creativity among employees. She believed that for Maris Corp to thrive, every individual must feel empowered to contribute their ideas and expertise. The first workshop, titled Ignite Your Potential, aimed to inspire employees to share their visions for the future of the company. As employees gathered in the expansive conference room, Alana stood at the front, her heart racing with excitement. The atmosphere buzzed with energy. Employees were eager to engage and brainstorm. She began the session with a powerful speech. "Each of you brings unique perspectives and talents to Maris Corp. It's time to harness that potential and build something extraordinary together. I want to hear your ideas, your aspirations, and your dreams for this company." After her speech, she opened the floor for discussion. Employees hesitated at first, but gradually began sharing their thoughts. Ideas flowed like a river. Innovative product lines, enhanced customer service strategies, sustainability initiatives. Alana felt a wave of pride as she watched her team collaborate, building upon each other's ideas, creating an environment where everyone's voice mattered. One of the standout contributions came from a junior marketing associate, Priya. What if we launched a community outreach program? We could partner with local schools to promote technology education and inspire the next generation of innovators, she suggested, her eyes bright with passion. Alana beamed at Priya. That's a fantastic idea. We can leverage our resources to give back to the community while also inspiring young minds. Let's make this happen. As the workshop progressed, Alana saw the transformation in her team. They were no longer just employees. They were a cohesive unit, working toward a shared vision. By the end of the day, they had brainstormed several actionable initiatives that would not only enhance Maris Corp's reputation, but also strengthen their bond as a team. Yet, Alana knew that while these workshops were vital for morale, she needed to address the practical implications of Jacob's departure. The company had to recover from the financial instability that had resulted from his maneuvers. Alana convened her leadership team to discuss his strategic plan for the next quarter. In the conference room, Alana laid out her vision. We need to realign our goals, focusing on stabilizing our finances while also pursuing the innovative ideas generated in the workshops. Let's create a balanced approach that combines immediate financial recovery with long-term growth strategies. Marcus, the CFO, leaned forward. We should analyze our current contracts and see where we can cut unnecessary costs while still maintaining quality service. Perhaps we can also explore new client partnerships based on the ideas generated during the workshops. I agree, Alana said, nodding. Let's compile a list of potential clients who align with our vision. We can also enhance our outreach efforts to attract new clients interested in our innovative initiatives. The leadership team set to work, diligently analyzing budgets, contracts, and marketing strategies. They focused on building relationships with potential clients and ensuring that Maris Corp's reputation remained untarnished. Meanwhile, Alana prioritized transparency within the organization, keeping her team informed about the company's financial status and the steps being taken to address any challenges. As the weeks passed, Alana's efforts began to bear fruit. The company secured new partnerships that aligned with their values, and their community outreach programs gained traction. Employees expressed pride in their work, motivated by the positive impact they were making both internally and externally. However, amidst the successes, Alana felt a lingering sense of unease. The shadow of Jacob's betrayal still loomed large, and she couldn't shake the feeling that he might try to retaliate. To address these concerns, Alana scheduled a meeting with her legal counsel, Carla, to discuss preventative measures. As they sat in Carla's office, Alana voiced her worries. What if Jacob tries to undermine us from the outside? He still has connections in the industry, and I don't want him to be a lingering threat to our success. Carla nodded thoughtfully. We need to protect our intellectual property and ensure that our contracts with clients are ironclad. We should also monitor any negative campaigns that may arise and be ready to address them swiftly. With Carla's advice in mind, Alana implemented new protocols to safeguard the company's interests. They revised contracts, ensuring that confidentiality clauses were enforced, and established a system for monitoring external communications to detect any potential smear campaigns early. Meanwhile, Alana also began working closely with the human resources team to create a supportive environment for employees. They launched mentorship programs to help junior staff grow their skills, ensuring that everyone had access to the resources they needed to succeed. Alana believed that nurturing talent within the organization was vital for their long-term growth. As the months rolled by, Maris Corp emerged stronger than ever. Employee engagement was at an all-time high, and the company received accolades for its community outreach initiatives. However, Alana remained vigilant, aware that the corporate landscape was ever-changing and challenges could arise at any moment. One evening, as she reviewed her notes for an upcoming board meeting, Alana received an unexpected email. The subject line read, "Meeting request from Jacob Barnes." Her heart sank as she opened the message. He requested a meeting to discuss unresolved business matters and hinted at the possibility of collaboration. Alana felt a mix of emotions: anger, anxiety, and a sense of foreboding. Jacob had been a source of turmoil, and now he wanted to re-enter her life on his terms. She immediately shared the email with her leadership team during their next meeting. "I received a request from Jacob for a meeting," Alana announced, her voice steady but laced with tension. "We need to discuss how we want to approach this." Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Is it wise to entertain any discussions with him? He's proven to be untrustworthy." Alana nodded. "I understand the concerns, but we cannot ignore the possibility that he may have valuable insights or connections. However, we must be cautious. I propose we set clear boundaries for this meeting and have a plan in place to ensure our interests are protected." The leadership team agreed, and they spent the next few days preparing for the meeting. They outlined their goals, developed questions to gauge Jacob's intentions, and created a plan for how they would respond if he attempted to undermine Alana or the company. The day of the meeting arrived, and Alana felt a knot in her stomach as she walked into the cafe where they had agreed to meet. Jacob sat at a corner table, a confident smile plastered across his face as she approached. "Alana, it's good to see you," he said, extending his hand. "I appreciate you agreeing to meet." "Let's get straight to the point, Jacob," Alana replied, taking her seat. "What's this about?" Jacob leaned back, feigning nonchalance. "I wanted to discuss the possibility of a partnership. I believe there are opportunities for both of us to benefit from collaboration. The tech industry is competitive, and together, we could be stronger." Alana maintained her composure, carefully considering his words. "What specifically do you have in mind? After everything that happened, trust is a major concern for us." "I understand," Jacob said, his voice smooth. "I've learned from my past mistakes. I genuinely believe that if we work together, we could harness our strengths. You have a great team at Maris Corp, and I can help leverage those strengths in ways that could benefit us both." Alana watched him closely, searching for any signs of deceit. "I'm not willing to jeopardize what we've built at Maris Corp. Our focus is on innovation and community engagement. Any partnership would need to align with those values." Jacob nodded, but Alana could see the flicker of frustration in his eyes. "Of course, I respect that. But you know the industry can be brutal, and sometimes partnerships are necessary to stay ahead of the curve." "I'm aware of that," Alana replied, her tone firm. "But we will not compromise our integrity for short-term gains. If we are to explore a partnership, it would need to be based on mutual respect and shared goals." The conversation continued, with Alana skillfully navigating Jacob's attempts to sway her. While he made enticing offers, she remained resolute in her commitment to Maris Corp's vision. As the meeting concluded, she felt a sense of empowerment. She had stood her ground against Jacob's charm and persuasion. "Thank you for your time, Alana," Jacob said, standing to leave. "I hope you'll consider my proposal." "I will," she replied, her voice unwavering. "But understand that I will always prioritize Maris Corp and our values above all else." As she walked away from the meeting, Alana felt a renewed sense of determination. Jacob's presence was still a reminder of the challenges she had faced, but she had proven to herself that she could confront even the most formidable obstacles. With her leadership team beside her, she was confident in her ability to steer Maris Corp toward a bright future. Over the following months, Alana continued to build on the momentum they had created. The company thrived, and employee satisfaction reached new heights. Alana made it a point to recognize the contributions of her team, celebrating their achievements and fostering a culture of inclusivity and collaboration. One day, as Alana sat in her office reflecting on their progress, she received an unexpected call from a leading industry publication. They wanted to feature Mariscorp in an article highlighting companies that were redefining leadership and corporate culture. "This is a fantastic opportunity," Alana said, her voice brimming with excitement. "It's a chance to showcase the innovative spirit we've cultivated here." The journalist interviewed Alana, delving into the challenges she had faced as a female executive in a male-dominated industry. Alana shared her journey, her vision for Mariscorp, and the importance of fostering a diverse and inclusive workplace. When the article was published, the response was overwhelmingly positive. Mariscorp garnered attention not only for its achievements, but also for Alana's inspiring leadership style. She became a sought-after speaker at industry conferences, sharing her insights on breaking barriers and championing innovation. As Alana stood on stage at a conference, addressing a room filled with aspiring leaders, she felt a surge of pride. Leadership isn't just about holding a title. It's about uplifting others, embracing change, and staying true to your values. Each of us has the power to redefine what leadership looks like. In that moment, Alana realized the true impact of her journey. She had not only reclaimed her position, but had also paved the way for future generations of leaders, proving that resilience, integrity, and a commitment to inclusivity could triumph over adversity. As the applause echoed in her ears, Alana felt a deep sense of fulfillment. She had turned the trials of her past into a catalyst for change, transforming Mariscorp into a beacon of hope and innovation in the industry. The journey was far from over, but Alana was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that she had the strength and support of her team behind her. In the end, Alana's story was not just about her rise to power. It was about the legacy she would leave behind, one of courage, collaboration, and a steadfast belief in the power of diverse voices shaping the future. As she looked out at the audience, she knew they were all part of this transformative journey, and together they would continue to rise, breaking barriers and redefining the narrative of leadership in their industries.